Business can be a lonely game, but it doesn't have to be. Welcome to Boutique Chat, where we explore community over competition and how to scale your company with the balance and the happiness that we all seek. We'll hear from product-based businesses of all types, retailers, e-commerce and wholesale brands, along with industry experts shaping the future of our industry. I'm your host, Ashley Alderson from the Boutique Hub, and I can't wait to chat.
Hey guys, welcome back to 5 Minute Friday. I'm so pumped that you're here. I heard this quote a while ago and I thought, I just have to share this quote on 5 Minute Friday because I think it'll be impactful to you like it's been impactful to me. And the quote was this: how you show up here is how you show up there is how you show up everywhere. And wow, when you sit back and unpack that, there's a lot of truth and a lot of meaning behind it. So I wanted to think about, how do I just distill that down to what does that mean for us in business? What does that mean for us in life? And what I think this means is how you do the little things is how you do the big things. And so the simple things of moving from being an entrepreneur to a CEO, how do you set up your day for success in the little things, becomes how you become successful as a CEO and entrepreneur in the big things. So I think that there's three main categories that we really have to think about when it comes to how I show up here is how I show up there, and how do I do the little things is how I do the big things. The first is, what are our daily habits that are either contributing to or taking away from our ability to be a great CEO? So questions you might ask yourself, things like, do I get things done right away? Or do I push them off and procrastinate and do them last minute? Do I do a good job of understanding in my daily habits, what do I see through to completion? Or what's a fire I start and I actually don't put out? That's me. I'm a squirrel. I do a lot of those. So those little habits of just making sure I get my emails actually sorted and I don't just read them all and leave them for myself to come back to 2, 3, 4, 7, 14 days from now to answer. Or do I, the second I open it, actually answer it, complete it, delete it, file it, and move on? That is a little tiny small habit that has a great big giant impact. Same with calendar management, the habit of calendar management. Am I showing up every day going, I'll figure it out, I'll just fit it all in, I'll get it all done? Or do I have the habit of being really intentional to go, you know what, today's the day I focus on this, I have theme days. Or maybe I time block by the hours. Have I created small healthy habits in how I manage my time? Or have I created small healthy habits in how I say no to things and set boundaries for things? Because if I can easily set boundaries when the stakes aren't very high, it's going to make my life a lot easier to say no to things and set boundaries when the stakes are really high. I'm thinking parenting teenagers. I'm thinking critical business decisions. I'm thinking of crucial conversations. Those things get a lot easier when we have this small daily habit and practice of setting boundaries and saying no early on to little things that are a little bit easier to do. The second way I like to look at this after your habits are, what are your spoken words? How are you speaking to yourself? Those little daily words that we're speaking become big long term, because how I speak to myself is likely how I'm going to speak to others around me. If I'm really harsh, really critical, really judgmental, if I'm really doubtful to myself, how am I then going to project that onto my team? Right? How am I going to project that onto my family? I love that there's a dog barking in the back of today's episode. That is total real life right here. The third thing I like to think about is, how does this impact my beliefs? So what are the small things? What are the small beliefs that I have about myself that I know I have, right? Where am I critical of myself? Or where do I question how worthy I am of certain things? Or what is my belief around failure? Right? Am I willing to fail? Am I willing to fail fast? Or am I scared to death of failing? Those little beliefs and the little things I'm telling myself about those beliefs and how I show up on a daily basis are going to be amplified times 100 when the stakes are much higher, when our business is truly on the line, or when I have to make a critical business decision. So how I show up here in the dark moments and how I work through those beliefs that I have about myself become hugely important down the road. It's kind of like the importance of having a life coach or a mentor or somebody to talk to when times are good, because when you can solidify and work through those things, it helps you so much when times aren't so good. So I say all of this, how you show up here is how you show up there, just to get you thinking about who you are in the dark, who you are when no one's looking, who you are when it's just you and your to-do lists. It's just you and your notebook. It's just you and your ideas. How you show up there, how you believe, how you speak, and the habits that you create for yourself in those tiny little moments become really amplified and critical in the big, tough, challenging moments. So, all that to say, you've got this. You've got this. The little things will become the big things, and I know you're taking action on the little things. So I hope today's episode was helpful. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. I would love to hear your take on it, honestly. Send me a message, send me a DM at AJ Alderson or over at the Boutique Hub. And tell me what you do first when you listen to these episodes, but what does this mean to you? How you show up here is how you show up there is how you show up everywhere. And where have you seen this play out in your life? I'm wishing you guys all the best. Have an incredible week, and thanks again for tuning in.
Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you took away all kinds of nuggets and new ideas from this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. We love to hear your feedback and give you a chance to be featured on the show each and every week. For more information on our spirit of community over competition and to access guest downloads and bonuses and all the resources we talked about on the show, head on over to theboutiquehub.com and join the community. We'll see you next week.